the man who changed the church forever. In the bustling streets of Rome, where marble columns rose like silent sentinels and the air was thick with the scents of spice and stone, a child was born who would one day change the destiny of the church. His name was Gregory. From the very beginning, Gregory was no ordinary child. He was born into a world of wealth and privilege, but his heart beat with a quiet yearning for something far greater than gold or glory. While other children played among the gardens and fountains of his family's estate, Gregory wandered into the quiet corners of churches, listening to the whispers of prayer, the stories of saints, and the call of God. This is the story of a man who chose devotion over comfort, courage over fear, and service over power. A man whose wisdom and faith would ripple across continents, whose vision would guide missionaries to distant lands, and whose miracles would inspire generations. This is the story of Gregory the Great, a pope, a monk, a scholar, and a saint. A story of faith, adventure, and the enduring power of one man's devotion to God. Chapter 1. From Wealth and Privilege to a Life of Service. Gregory was born into one of Rome's most noble families, surrounded by the splendor of villas, gardens, and priceless art. The city, though no longer the capital of a mighty empire, still carried the echoes of its glorious past. Marble columns, grand basilicas, and bustling marketplaces created a world of beauty and opportunity, but Gregory's heart was drawn elsewhere. From a young age, he felt the stirrings of something greater than wealth or prestige. While other children delighted in games and the pursuit of status, Gregory found solace in prayer and study. He immersed himself in the scriptures, in the writings of the church fathers, and in the quiet discipline of reflection. It was not ambition that guided him, but a calling, a pull toward a life of service and devotion. When he reached adulthood, Gregory made a bold and courageous choice. He could have pursued a career in politics, wealth, or influence, as his family expected. Instead, he chose the monastic life, withdrawing from the luxuries of Rome to a small monastery on the outskirts of the city. There, he embraced a life of simplicity, labor, and prayer, tending the gardens, illuminating manuscripts, and guiding his fellow monks. It was in the monastery that Gregory's character truly emerged. His humility and wisdom earned him respect, and his unwavering devotion to God inspired all who knew him. Even in the quiet cloister, far from the center of power, Gregory began to leave his mark, not through wealth or titles, but through the strength of his faith and the depth of his compassion. Little did he know that this path, chosen in solitude and silence, would one day lead him to the heart of the church, to the city of Rome, and to a destiny that would echo through the ages. Gregory's life was a reminder that true greatness is not given, but chosen, and it is chosen by the courage to follow the call of God, wherever it may lead. Chapter 2. The monk who became the Pope of Rome. Rome in the year 590 was a city teetering on the edge of despair. Plague had swept through the streets, famine gripped the poor, and political turmoil threatened the fragile order of the city. The people, weary and desperate, cried out for a shepherd to guide them through the storm. Gregory, a man who had spent years in quiet devotion and humble service, could never have imagined that he would be chosen to lead. Yet the call came. The clergy and the people, seeing in him a man of wisdom, humility, and unshakable faith, elected him pope. At first, Gregory hesitated. How could a simple monk shoulder such responsibility in such a time of crisis? But he accepted, trusting in God's guidance and the strength of his convictions. As pope, Gregory faced immense challenges. The city's food supply was failing, and the sick and dying filled the streets. Bands of invaders threatened the outskirts, and the shadow of moral decay loomed over Rome's institutions. Gregory, however, met each crisis with courage and resourcefulness. He organized relief for the hungry, negotiated peace with hostile forces, and restored order through example rather than fear. His leadership was marked not by authority alone, but by compassion and relentless determination. Gregory also sought to reform the church itself. He encouraged education, strengthened monastic life, and guided bishops with clarity and wisdom. Through his writings, letters, and personal counsel, he reached far beyond Rome, influencing the church across Europe. His vision was simple but profound, a church that served the people, rooted in faith, guided by virtue, and animated by the love of God. In the midst of crisis, Gregory's courage shone like a beacon. He walked the streets among the sick and dying, praying with them, comforting them, and showing that a true leader does not rule from a throne, but stands shoulder to shoulder with those in need. Rome, a city once on the brink of collapse, found hope and renewal under his guidance. Gregory's transformation from monk to pope was not merely a rise to power. It was a journey of service, faith, and heroic devotion. The man who had once tended monastery gardens now tended the souls of an entire city, proving that greatness is forged in humility and courage, not in wealth or ambition. Chapter 3. The visionary who spread the faith to the far corners of the world. Gregory's gaze extended far beyond the walls of Rome. He understood that the church's mission was not confined to the city or even to Italy. It was meant to reach every corner of the known world. With determination and foresight, he set in motion missions that would change the course of history. One of his most famous endeavors was the mission to England. In 596, Gregory sent a group of monks, led by Augustine, across treacherous seas to the unfamiliar lands of the Anglo-Saxons. He instructed them not with orders alone, but with wisdom, encouragement, and a deep understanding of human nature. Teach with patience, he wrote, and lead by example. Win hearts, not battles. The journey was perilous. Storms lashed their small ships, unknown tribes watched them warily, and the language and customs of the people were foreign and complex. Yet Gregory's guidance was unwavering. He urged the missionaries to trust in God, to show kindness, and to bring light to places of darkness. Slowly, the seeds he planted took root. Christianity began to flourish in distant lands, thanks to his vision and persistence. Gregory's influence did not stop there. He corresponded with bishops, kings, and abbots across Europe, offering counsel that combined practical wisdom with spiritual insight. His letters were not mere bureaucracy. They were lifelines of guidance, filled with warmth, clarity, and a vision of a church united in faith and purpose. Through these missions, Gregory showed that true leadership knows no borders. He understood that faith is not imposed, but nurtured, and that courage and perseverance can transform the most distant and challenging lands. His vision reached beyond Rome, beyond Italy, beyond the familiar, touching hearts and shaping nations. In the story of Gregory, we see a man who refused to be confined by circumstance or geography. He saw the world not as it was, but as it could be, illuminated by faith, guided by wisdom, and united in service to God. Every mission, every letter, every act of guidance was a testament to his relentless devotion and his heroic ambition to spread the light of the church to all corners of the earth. Chapter 4. Miracles and the Signs of a Saint. Gregory's life was marked not only by wisdom and leadership, but by events that seemed touched directly by the hand of God. Miracles followed him, not as spectacles for the curious, but as signs of his holiness and deep devotion. One story tells of a time when a terrible plague swept through Rome, leaving fear and despair in its wake. Gregory moved among the sick, tending to them with care, offering comfort, and praying fervently for their healing. Many recovered, seemingly against all odds, and people whispered that his prayers had saved lives. Another tale speaks of storms at sea threatening the missionaries he had sent to distant lands. While Gregory could do nothing from afar to calm the waves, he prayed with such fervor and faith that his letters to them arrived with guidance, courage, and reassurance. Those who faced the raging seas spoke of a mysterious calm that seemed to follow them, as if God himself answered Gregory's prayers. Even small acts revealed his sanctity. He would feed the hungry from his own stores, counsel the troubled with words that brought peace to anxious hearts, and comfort the grieving with a presence so gentle yet strong that people felt God's love through him. These acts, ordinary to some, became extraordinary in their effect, transforming lives and inspiring devotion. Gregory's miracles were never about personal glory. They were the natural fruit of a life lived in perfect alignment with God's will. People saw in him a living example of faith made real, a man whose courage, humility, and love could move hearts, calm fears, and even touch the very forces of nature. Through these wonders, Gregory's reputation as a saint grew. He was not only a leader and a scholar, but a beacon of divine grace, guiding his flock with both wisdom and signs that confirmed his closeness to God. Every act of mercy, every answered prayer, every life touched was a testament to his sanctity, and a reminder that true holiness shines brightest in action, not in words alone. Chapter 5. The Legacy of Gregory the Great. When Gregory passed from this world in 604 AD, Rome mourned the loss of a shepherd, a guide, and a man whose life had been a testament to faith in action. Yet his influence did not end with his death. On the contrary, it spread like ripples across Europe, shaping the church for centuries to come. Gregory's writings became treasures of wisdom and guidance. His pastoral rule offered practical counsel for bishops, emphasizing care, humility, and the responsibilities of leadership. His letters, filled with insight and compassion, were sent to rulers, missionaries, and monks, guiding them in faith and in the challenges of life. Through these words, Gregory continued to teach, inspire, and lead, even from beyond the grave. He was declared a doctor of the Church, a title reserved for those whose teachings illuminate the path of faith. But Gregory's greatness was not measured by titles or honors. It was measured by the countless lives he touched, the communities he strengthened, and the hearts he opened to God's love. His vision of a church that served the people, reached beyond borders, and lived in humility and courage became a model for generations. The missionaries he sent carried his spirit to new lands. The reforms he enacted shaped institutions, and the prayers he offered still echo in the devotion of the faithful. Gregory the Great left behind more than monuments or manuscripts. He left a legacy of holiness, service, and fearless faith. His life reminds us that true leadership is not about power or prestige, but about love, courage, and the unwavering commitment to guide others toward the light. Even today, over 1,000 years later, the story of Gregory inspires those who seek to live with purpose, act with courage, and follow the call of God wherever it may lead. He remains, in every sense, a saint for all time, a man whose vision, wisdom, and devotion continue to shape the church and the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Saint Gregory the Great. We hope his story of courage, faith, and devotion has inspired you as much as it has inspired generations before. If you enjoyed this adventure into history and holiness, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay with us for more stories of saints, heroes, and remarkable lives. Until next time, may faith guide your steps and courage light your path.